So good evening and welcome to Hayes Lane in Bromley for this FA Women's Championship fixture between Crystal Palace and our very own Charlton Athletic Women's side. The first game for the new head coach of the Addicts, Karen Hills, returning to the club where she won the FA Cup as a player. The Addicts looking to get one over on their local rivals, Crystal Palace. Charlton in decent form. They've only lost one in the last 5. Palace under a little bit of pressure, having not won in their last 2. And we'll bring in my co-commentator now, Lewis Catt. I'm Louis Mendes, by the way. Lewis, thanks for joining us. How are you? Looking forward to this one?
Yes, mate, very much so. We've obviously watched a couple of these encounters before and have always been entertained and blessed with some last-minute drama. And yeah, it's going to be a huge game for both sides today. Both teams at the wrong end of the championship table, both be looking to pick up some points, pull away from danger, and also very excited to see what the Karen Hills era will bring for this women's side. And yeah, a huge game, obviously a South London derby, so a huge first test for Karen today and the team. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough encounter, a real battle at the bottom end of the table, and obviously a derby adds that extra bit of spice as well. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
So we're just waiting kick-off here at Hayes Lane. Thomas Sandgaard is in attendance, the new Charlton Athletic owner of course of the men's and the women's sides now. He's here in Bromley to watch his side, how they get on. The Addicts, of course, 3 points above the relegation zone. London Bees it is, who sit bottom of the championship table. They're on 8 points. They've also played 2 more games than the Addicts. 3 points here for Charlton could be massive in their battle for survival. Teams are swapping ends, so it's going to be Charlton shooting towards the Glyn Beverley stand here at Hayes Lane in the first half. Run you through the 2 sides quickly as well before kick-off. So for Palace, it's Morgan, Chloe Morgan in goal, Fifon Morgan, Annabelle Johnson, Gracie Pearce, Lizzie Waldy, Kirsty Barton, Hannah Churchill, former Charlton player, as is Amber Stobbs, Bianca Baptiste, who scored in the corresponding fixture on the first day of the season, which was a 2-2 draw over at Crayford for the Addicts. We've also got Kate Nakil and Siobhan Wilson. For the Addicts, the first team named by Karen Hills since she's joined the club. Eartha Cummins in goal. We've got Alice Griffiths, Olivia Smith, Grace Coombs is the captain. Charlie Clifford, who absolutely loves scoring goals against Crystal Palace. Jess King is the Addicts' top scorer. She's up top. Ella Powell, Ella Rutherford, Shauna Vassell, Billy Shuola and Lois Hoychan. So players take the knee here at Bromley. And we're underway at Hayes Lane. It's the Addicts, all in grey shirts, black shorts and grey socks who get us going. And an early touch in midfield, a ball with Smith, and it goes back to the goalkeeper for Cummins. How vital is it that the Addicts get off to a good start here? We've seen how tight these games between these 2 sides can be, Lewis.
Yeah, 100%. You know, as we've said in the pre-show, really tight games, tight encounter, big London derby, 2 sides that at the wrong end of the table, you know, both that little bit off danger, but they'll both want to be trying to open up a bit more of a cushion from themselves and London Bees, who are bottom of the table currently.
Yeah, Palace sitting just 1 place above the Addicts. They have played a game more than Charlton, 5 points ahead of them. So if Charlton can get the 3 points this evening, it'll close the gap. And as I say, more importantly, open up a bit more breathing space above London Bees. 3 points behind the Addicts at the moment. Of course, as I've already said, they've played 2 more than Charlton. So 3 points here could be massive. Especially, you know, the club are going full time from the summer Lewis, and they want to be doing that in the Championship, won't they?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a new foundation for the club. We know some of the struggles the women's side have dealt with in the past and have come back, and now to have a bit more of a secured long-term investment with Thomas coming in and taking hold of the women's side of the football club and bringing the club under one roof, I think it's massively important, and that shows the aspirations to develop as a full-time
Early
club.
cross into the Charlton penalty area. It's going to be hacked away. Shauna Vassell back there doing some defending. She also scored in the opening day fixture at Crayford, where it was a 2-2 draw. Vassell's equaliser coming late on. There's Coombs with the clearance, only half cleared. Palace will look to recycle this on the left-hand side. Comes across, it's not behind, it goes out for the throw.
It was a difficult ball to deal with there. Churchill got it in. It was skewed ever so slightly by the Charlton defence, and Palace have got that throw in a dangerous position now.
Great charge down that was by Jess King, the Addicts' top goal scorer with 5 in the league so far this season. Trying to have dealt with the danger so far, and they look to pick it up in the midfield. The King to chase, but it's going to be cleared over on that far side by Johnson. Out for a Charlton throw. In comes the cross. Chance here for the Addicts. Can they keep it alive with Powell on that far side? It's gone behind for the first corner of the game.
Yeah,
goes away with
Charlton. Well contested by Ella Powell to win the corner.
Palace scored from a corner in the game on the opening day of the season. Can Charlton reverse the roles here? Over it comes now in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, it's well defended by Palace. Cleared up towards the edge of the area. And the clearance is complete up over the halfway line. Liz Smith has some defending to do here, but the referee spotted something he's not happy with inside the Palace half, and the Eagles will have a free kick.
It was a great corner in there. It was just in front of a Palace defender, managed to get it away, but it's a good promising sign there from Charlton. Looks like they can be a threat from set pieces if they can keep the deliveries consistent and threatening like that.
Come Palace again, good foot in there. And Charlton will bring it away down the right-hand side with Shauna Vassell. Signed from Arsenal in the summer, was the captain at the Arsenal Academy level. Exciting young player the Addicts have on their books there, 20 years old.
There's brilliant work by Shauna Vassell on that right-hand side. Dangerous, you know, the hero in the last outing at home in that opener, that dramatic last-minute goal there.
And in to do again down the right-hand side. It's touched forward. Cleared out of play. And that's Grace Coombs who's gone across there, the Addicts skipper. Comes the throw for Palace. Defending on the edge of the Charlton area and cleared up towards the halfway line. Oh, it's a foul given by the referee. Be a chance for Palace to whip this one into the Charlton penalty area.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a clumsy one there by on Annabelle Johnson, should I say. Bit of a dangerous position here for Palace. They're going to flood the box. Charlton will have to deal with this.
Comes the free kick. It's a good delivery for the Eagles. Oh, and it's a slightly strange deflection there that's taken it just wide. It's hit one of the Addicts players right in the face. It may well be Grace Coombs. It will be a Palace corner when play restarts, but it could have been a free cone goal.
It could have been, and it was a really impressive delivery, as you say. They had to deal with that. Looks like they have done just about with a bit of a tough knock to the face. Hopefully they're okay, but luckily saw the ball squirm just wide of that post. But Palace will have the corner, and again, it's a threat here. Palace flooding the box. Charlton are going to have to deal with it.
Corner then for the Eagles. In it comes, left-footed out swinger towards the edge of the area, headed away. For the Charlton goal kick. Not the first time that the Addicts have actually played here at Hayes Lane. They've had 2 home games here over the course of the last month or so. 1-1 draw with Blackburn Ravers just at the end of January, where the Addicts had the lead in the first half, but were pegged back early in the second. It did well really to hang on for a point, and then they took a very good point off Liverpool a week later here. Charlie Clifford's late penalty. They had led in that game through Vassell's early strike, but Liverpool struck back twice in the second half before Clifford again rescued a point, but a well-deserved point for the Addicts, who played well that day. There is Clifford, the Addicts' leading appearance maker, flicking it on. There's a chance here for Rutherford, trying to put pressure on the goalkeeper, but she's off her line well.
Yeah, it's well gathered by Chloe Morgan. Again, a great ball through from the Addicts, and yeah, had the Palace defenders sweating.
Trying looking to get in behind here again on that left-hand side. Good challenge came in. Ball back with the Addicts goalkeeper, Urfa Cummins. Represents Scotland at youth levels. Signed in the summer from Bristol City. Had an injury at the start of the season, so the Addicts did have Katie Starter back on loan. Absolute stalwart goalkeeper who signed for Brighton. She did come back for a little while. There was a mistake here at the back. Chance for the Eagles. Cummins off her line. She does really well there to beat the attacker to the ball, Lewis.
Yeah, well read there by Urfa Cummins. It was a bit of a mismatch at the back again. Palace find themselves through, and yeah, Urfa Cummins had to come off her line quickly to make sure she gathered that ball. A bit of a let-off there for the Addicts. They've got to be careful of that.
Free kick for Charlton on the halfway line. Now the home of Bromley FC here in the National League, 7th place, but you may have seen today, if you're interested in the local non-league scene, that Bromley relieved their manager Neil Smith of his duties today after 5 years in charge, 10 years in total with the club. By pure coincidence, Cray Wanderers, who share the ground here, also lost their manager today. What are the chances? Long ball forward down the left-hand side for the Addicts. It's just snuck out for the throat.
It's unlucky. It was a good idea, just a little bit too much on the ball there. Just ever so slightly ahead.
How do you assess the opening few moments of this game? 10 minutes played. No real clear-cut chances just yet, other than that one where Urfa had to come off her line to make a smother as the ball seemed to break on the edge of the area.
Yeah, nothing majorly clear-cut so far. Very similar chances, to be honest. We obviously saw at the other end with Chloe Morgan having to come off her line to evade Charlton as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough contest here. A lot of battles in the middle.
Trying to pick up possession again inside the Palace half. Good touch that is on the right-hand side from Rutherford, but it's cleared.
was unlucky there, Ella Powell. She got herself in a good position, just gave herself a little bit too much to do, knocked the ball a little bit too far ahead of herself.
Grace Coombs with the clearance up towards the Palace half. It's Clifford again now. What can she do? Over to the right-hand side it goes. Ball down the line for Suola, who's in the penalty area. Back to the right-hand side and Vassell. Vassell again. Suola trying to find that space for the cross in. It comes now towards the edge of the area. Right-footed shot is charged down. The Charlton players want handball. Nothing's doing from the referee. Still in play on that far side. Now it's out. I think that'll be a Palace throw, and it is. Half a shout there, Lewis. What did you think?
Yeah, hard to call from here, really, Louis. You know, but great work on this right-hand side again from Vassell. You can see she's going to be a threat. Quick feet as well. A decent ball in. But yeah, a good opportunity again. A decent shout for handball, but I couldn't see enough from here, really.
Ooh, just watching the replay there. Just saw the hand come out. I do wonder. The shot was charged down. The Palace defender, she had her arm out. I'd argue that's in an unnatural position. Chunk may well have had a shout for a penalty there, but here comes another chance here. Can they bundle their way through over on the left-hand side? Into Suola again. And comes the cross. It's well handled by the goalkeeper. Another dangerous moment. Charlton just starting to find their feet in the last few minutes, Lewis.
Yeah, they are. They're looking good, and Alicia Suola has really impressed me in this little spell we're having now. She's dangerous in the middle, a real presence as well, but also getting out wide and providing chances, getting about, real box to box. We've seen her doing the defensive work and also becoming a threat at the other end of the pitch. Obviously has a taste for it when she comes to play at Hayes Lane, because it was her who won the penalty against Blackburn a few weeks ago in that very penalty area in front of the Glyn Beverley stand here at Bromley. She's a tricky player, one of the signings that came in the January transfer window just to boost Ratish's side. See now Ratish still part of the, Ratish Mishra that is, still part of the coaching setup. Karen Hill's brought in as the new head coach. Experience with Tottenham, of course, oversaw the sort of transition I think Thomas Sandgaard would like to see the Addicts have over the next few years when she spent her time with Spurs. Yeah, 100%. A very optimistic appointment, if you like. She's got great experience with Tottenham Hotspur. She's been there for a long time, hasn't she? She'd coached there for I think she'd been there for quite a while, to be honest, and had led them to decent successes, and obviously has history here as well as a player. A very successful playing career here at Charlton, so it's nice to see her back in a coaching background, and I think it's going to be a great positive for the women, especially as they're looking now to go full time. She's got that experience at a coaching level and at a playing level, and it'll be very important for some of these girls to have that.
Powell wins the free kick for the Addicts there. Taken quickly to the right-hand side, and Vassell looking to take her player on and burst into the penalty area down this right-hand side. Just checks back. Rutherford's in attendance if she can get the ball in. Chance for a cross now for the Addicts. However, it comes from Rutherford towards the far post. Big chance! Oh, and it's headed behind. I think that would have off a Palace player, and it's behind for the corner. That was a massive opening for the Addicts there.
Yeah, and what a fantastic ball from Ella Rutherford. Dangerous back post. You had the Palace defenders backpedaling, and they could only just about get that away for a corner. And again, brilliant work from Shauna Vassell on the right-hand side. Tried to get beyond the last player, managed to come back to Ella Rutherford to get that dangerous ball in, and win the Addicts another corner.
Excellent ball in it was from Rutherford. Got those 2 assists, didn't she, against Coventry United in the Addicts' last win away from home a few weeks ago. 2-0 victory against one of the sides below them in the table. That was a massive win for the Addicts. Keeps them very much alive in the Championship. Corner then for Charlton. It's a deep one towards the far post. Coombs has peeled away. Takes a touch off a Palace player. Coombs will let it go out for the Charlton throw. In the corner where the beer tent used to be here at Bromley before they refurbished the ground. Sorely missed. Sorely missed. Poor touch there by Vassell, but she does really well to win it back. Palace will clear up towards midway point of their half. It's played back towards the edge of the Palace area. Smith who steps in. The ball from Coombs. It takes a touch off a Palace foot. It's behind for another corner.
Yeah, it was a decent clearance for her from Grace Coombs as well. Palace obviously forced them into a bit of a predicament there, and they've had to get it away for the corner to avoid the danger.
So it's 0-0 here at Hayes Lane in Palace and Charlton women's sides. 17.5 minutes gone. The Addicts having a good spell here. They've got another corner. Over it comes again. This one is deep towards the far side. Nodded down. It's in! The Addicts have the goal. It's touched home on the goal line. I couldn't see who it was, Lewis, but who cares right now? It's Crystal Palace 0, Charlton Athletic 1.
And that kind of scoreline, music to the ears of Charlton fans. Great ball in again. We've spoken already about the consistent, impressive deliveries from Charlton in this opening half. A great ball in. The last one we did was a little bit too deep. We've reworked it, got it dead in the centre, and it was well met. Again, like you, don't know who got it in, but who cares? Charlton are winning 1-0 against Palace.
It's a real mishmash of players, wasn't it, on that far side? It was nodded down into the middle. It's not easy to see the grey shirts with those black seats behind the goal, but we'll get confirmation of the goal scorers. But it's the Addicts with a priceless lead here at Hayes Lane. South London derby. Karen Hillsby we'll love to see a set piece routine come off. It was Lois Hukan. She's been in the goals recently, scored in that game against Coventry.
Taking her 4th of the season now. Lois Hukan, brilliant. Well, again, a well-worked corner. And she managed to meet it, and yeah, great tie. Charlton find themselves in a decent spell at the moment. They've capitalised on that, got themselves ahead. Now it's just keeping this momentum.
Yeah, Lois, the only player who's started every game for the Addicts so far this season. Watching her 4th goal of the campaign, a priceless one for Charlton if they have the early lead here at Hayes Lane. Tom Sandgaard not sitting too far away from us, Lewis. I'm sure he would have enjoyed that one. He's very eager when we spoke to him before kickoff to see the women's team play. He's delighted to have brought them in as part of the Charlton family once more properly.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. As we said before, it's great to have the whole club under one roof. The demand and an increase in popularity of women's football at the moment is great to see. We've seen it recently with huge TV deals for the Women's Super League, and that's the sort of thing, that's the aspirations Thomas has to get the club to that stage. And it's great to see him here today.
Yeah, you can't forget that Charlton were one of the biggest teams in women's football for a good long spell in the noughties. Well, it sounds strange calling them that, doesn't it? But that's when we were good. Won the FA Cup, of course, with Karen Hills in the side. 1-0 win over Everton in 2005. Got to a number of FA Cup finals in that spell, didn't we? It was at Upton Park. Eni Aluko with the winner in those days. Palace looking to respond down the right-hand side. Crossing opportunity, and it comes. It's a decent delivery. It's hacked up into the air. It was Olivia Smith, I think, at the near post who got there. Jess King looking to hold the ball up for the Addicts. Back to Coombs, and it's charged down the clearance. A chance here for Palace to try and get one back, and the shot's lifted over the crossbar.
Bit of a let off there. Charlton kind of being the victims of their own downfall. Any clear-cut chance Palace have had, it seems to have come from a bit of an error at the back. It was Katie Nakiel that just skewed her shot over the bar, but little let off there for Charlton. They need to keep their heads, make sure they don't make silly mistakes at the back, because both sides at the moment are getting a lot of joy down both flanks. So Charlton are going to want to make sure they defend theirs properly, because they're getting so much glory down the Palace wings at the moment. They want to make sure that they're shoring up their own.
Coombs, the Addicts captain, who was charged down, so dependable for Charlton. She'll just have the back of her mind. She made a mistake in a home game against Lewis a couple of weeks ago, where she left a header short for the Lewis striker to nip in and get a goal. But she's an experienced head in this side. Born in Sidcup. With the club, came up through the centre of excellence back in the day. She did have spells with West Ham and the University of Massachusetts out in America. Is that near Colorado? I don't know, but Thomas might have heard of it. Free kick then for Palace. They're going to whip this one in. Over it comes. Flick back towards their own goal. I think that should be a Palace corner, and the referee agrees.
Again, I've been really impressed with both teams' deliveries so far. It's a dangerous free kick. Charlton deal with it, managed to just get it away for the corner. But again, they're going to have to keep an eye on this, because the delivery from both sides has been second to none today. So every time it goes out in a dead ball situation for either side, I think both sides are going to have to really be at their best to defend it.
Deep corner towards the far side. Can Charlton deal with this one? It's bouncing around, but that's Jess King back there not to take any chances. Happy to work in the defensive box as well as the attacking third, Jess King. "23 minutes gone here at Hayes Lane. It's the Addicts who lead by a goal to nil. As UCAN's strike. Throw is dealt with by the Addicts. It was the goal scorer, UCAN, who's happy just to pump the ball into the Palace half.
Katie Nacko in hot pursuit there, but Charlton managed to get it away with Olivia Smith.
Clean sheets, not the Addicts' speciality. They've only kept one in the last 14, 2 all season. As the ball goes behind for an Addicts goal kick. They keep one here today, Lewis. And they will gain 3 very valuable points. They're in the lead. It's early days yet.
And as you say, it'd be absolutely huge result for the girls if they can hang on to this one. Clean sheets, as you say, not really been the forte this season. An impressive one a few weeks back against Coventry United in that huge 2-0 win. But yeah, as you say, they've got to iron that out of their game. The conceding, try and shore up a little bit at the back, and it's tight down there at the moment. Charlton, on Palace's tails in terms of league table with that game in hand. So a win here today would put them in a really good position.
That win at Coventry United a couple of weeks ago, towards the end of February, I really thought that would give the Addicts some really good breathing space. But then just a week later, Coventry went and got a slightly unexpected win over London City Lionesses. But it does show that every side in this division is beatable. And it is the London City Lionesses. Up next for the Addicts on Sunday. That game will be available to stream as well. Check the club channels. You'll be able to see how to watch that one on Sunday at 4:30. Here come Palace again towards the edge of the area. Excellent foot in from Coombs. Gets the clearance in. Come Palace again, edge of the area. Right-footed shot from range, but that's not going to trouble Eartha Cummins in the Charlton goal. I think it was Nat Keel again who's had a look from distance, but again once more unable to find the target.
Yeah, I don't think she realised how much time she had there, really. She could have taken a touch and brought someone else into play. A bit of a wasted opportunity, really.
Seen some great games between these two sides over the years, some memorable moments, but I'll cut off as Charlton have the attack here. I think that's the shot that goes in, but the keeper's going to make the save. Powell's got some chasing to do on this side. Oh, excellent defender from Ella Powell to win the ball back for her side. Played into the middle of the park where Griffiths will play it forward. It's flicked on, but Charlton can't win the loose ball and it'll come out to the left-hand side. Wilson can't get there though for Palace. Yeah, we'll never forget that 4-0 win here a few seasons ago when Kit Graham got all four for the Addicts the day that they confirmed their title win. Then they went on to beat Blackburn in the playoffs to get promoted into this division.
Fantastic goal scorer of Kit Graham for us, wasn't she?
Take Kit Graham out of any side and you see how difficult it becomes. A couple of years ago, Charlton's first in this division, they came so close, didn't they, to challenge in that top two. They lost a couple of decent players that year. And then the next season, last season, they actually, when the season was curtailed, the Addicts were bottom of the table, but they had games in hand, 2 games in hand. Palace weren't much further ahead of them. Here they come again on the left-hand side. Wilson's ball in towards the middle. It's an excellent cross, but Cummins does really well to take that under pressure.
Yeah, dangerous ball in again. I think she looked like she was going for goal, really. Didn't really see anyone arriving for it, but yeah, Eartha Cummins managed to deal with that fairly easily in the end. But she found herself in a lot of space there. Something they'll have to watch there. Siobhan Wilson looks a bit dangerous on this near side to us.
Fascinating story for Cummins. You may have heard or read it before that she was diagnosed with compartment syndrome. Had to have an operation when she was 17. Thought she would never play again, but it's come back superbly to, as I said earlier, featuring Scotland youth levels, holding down that number 1 spot for the Addicts at the moment as well. Spoke to her after the game at the Oakwood with Lewis a couple of weeks ago. She was extremely pleased with the way the Addicts had come back into that second half against Lewis to look like the more likely side if there was going to be a winner. In the end, it ended up a 1-1 draw. Here she comes again off her line just to see that one out. One of the car park end here at Bromley. It's the imaginatively named. There's a car park behind it, Lewis, in case you wondered.
Thanks for letting me know, mate, just in case.
Charlton win a free kick inside the centre circle.
Brilliant work in the middle again from Alicia Suella. She's been really impressive this first half. Contested and battled for everything.
She's full of energy, isn't she? Not many sides I've seen so far have been able to deal with her since she joined the Addicts. Ball into the Charlton half. Vassell with some defending to do again. So well, that was by Ella Powell on this right-hand side. Fed the ball to Jess King. That with Powell again, and Vassell will take over in the middle of the park for the Addicts. Good football this from Charlton. Can they create a chance for a second goal, perhaps, with Vassell in behind on the right-hand side? Can she keep it in? In comes across, dinked over towards the far post. Clacked away. Oh, and it's over the bar. That was a massive chance. The ball fell to Jess King inside the penalty area. She just lent back a little bit too much and lifted the ball over the crossbar. Charlton still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, just got underneath it, didn't she, Louis? So, again, brilliant work on this right-hand side, combined between Shauna Vassell and Ella Powell. Powell did well to deal with the Palace pressure, feed Shauna Vassell on the right-hand side. A dangerous run right to the edge of the line. Managed to get a decent ball in as well. And, yes, just that little bit under Jess King. Just got underneath it and scooped it over. But another brilliant chance.
Jess King, born in Liverpool, did have a spell with the Reds because of Lewis last season. She is Charlton's top goal scorer. Opened the scoring early on there on the opening day of the season after a mistake from Chloe Morgan, actually the Palace keeper. Jess King was there to gobble it up and put Charlton into the lead. They fell behind not long after. It was that last minute leveller from Shauna Vassell that got the Addicts off to a decent start with a point on the opening day. For a goal kick again. Well, just beyond the half-hour mark, Lewis, so you'd have to say Charlton probably be pretty pleased with how it's gone so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been fairly even in patches, but I think when Charlton have been in the ascendancy, they've made more of it than Palace have. I think they've made the more clear-cut chances. They've defended fairly well. There's been a couple of scares, but overall, Eartha Cummins had a fairly quiet evening so far. And down this right-hand side, getting a lot of joy through Shauna Vassell and Ella Powell as well. And yeah, I think the Addicts will be the happier of the two sides, not just because they're in the lead, but I just think overall being able to make the most of the times that they've been in the ascendancy.
Yeah, only one defeat in 5 coming into this one for the Addicts. That was last time out. A break off as they come again down the left-hand side. Players in the middle, if the cross can come in, but it's well defended. And it will come now, though, for the Addicts. Oh, it's a deep one in my eyes off the crossbar. Almost a freak second goal. Is that high can again on that far side? She's got a taste for it, hasn't she?
She has. She really has. Again, what a fantastic delivery. It had Chloe Morgan really backpedaling, and she'll be happy that one, she had the crossbar to save her there, because that looked like it was about to nestle in the top corner.
Palace looking a bit insecure when questions are asked. There's another chance here again for Suolo. It's played to Powell on the edge there. The ball goes back. Can Charlton make the chance here? Oh, it's excellent defending, you have to say. She got her body in the way there. I thought that would have been a foul, actually, for Palace, but nothing doing from the referee, so it's going to be cleared for a Charlton throw. The Addicts building up that pressure again. They
are really in the ascendancy at the moment, really making the most of the chances and pushing forward. Again, that was really impressive work from Alicia Suelo. It looks like she's down now. Hopefully she's okay, but she's been a real handful for Palace this half. She really has. And not just in the defensive work in the middle, but you see her there pretty much in the 6-yard box trying to get herself on the score sheet.
Can hear Ratish Mishra's voice on the sideline. Possibly telling Vianne Sampson that she might have to get involved here. It's where they joined the Addicts from Spurs in January, so come from the club that Karen Hills has come from as well. Looks like she'll be okay to continue for now. Vianne Sampson's still going around to that other side just in case. The challenge that is from Griffiths there, just to put the ball out for a throw. Alice Griffiths has been involved in the Wales setup before. Joined from the Cardiff Met ladies in 2019. Always thought that Alice was one of the better players with the ball at her feet at this level as well. Very good close controller of the football. She'll have some defending to do along with the rest of the Charlton side here as Palace have a free kick that Wilson's going to look to loft towards the edge of the area. Over it comes now, left-footed towards the edge of the box. Sorry, can't get the header right, but Charlton will hack it clear in the end. Comes back with interest here. Coombs underneath it. Can't get a head to it. It's going to be a chance here for Palace. It's over the bar once more. That's 3 times now we've seen shot lifted over from the edge of the area for the home side. Charlton still lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, it fell quite nicely there for Annabelle Johnson. Again, just got underneath it. But, as we say, Charlton defended fairly well so far. They just got to make sure that they try and iron out some of these silly mistakes on the edge of the boxes. Just make sure they're clearing their lines.
Come Palace again down that right-hand side. Baptiste trying to find space for the cross. It's gone out for a Palace throw.
A decent ball out there by former addict Hannah Churchill. Ball out to the right-hand side and fairly advanced in the Charlton half, and have thrown in a very decent position.
Flicked on. It's going to go behind for a Charlton goal kick. It's amazing. You do get a fair bit of crossover between all the sides in women's football in South London, really. You'll see, as we've already mentioned, Hannah Churchill and Amber Stobbs. This play for the Addicts. Lee Nicol is here as well, former Charlton player. I don't think she's on the bench today. She's just sat there watching. I think she might have an injury. Especially when we play London City Lionesses, it's like watching an ex-Charlton 11 on Sunday.
Inter-house friendly.
Yeah. Bumped into them at a service station when Charlton got beat by Lincoln earlier on in the season on the Sunday. I was driving home and I saw a women's football team walk in. I was like, why do I know all these players? I was like, all of them used to play for us. It was the London City Lionesses. They'd been beaten at Durham that day, and we'd both bumped into each other at the services.
Miserable service station trip, that one then.
Saw Steve Gallen in there queuing up from McDonald's. Don't see that every day. Right, in comes the throw-in for Palace. Headed away. It's going to be whipped back in. Headed behind. Good defending. But it will be a Palace corner.
Another
It's
corner.
taking up a little bit of pressure in these last few moments. Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time. Charlton still leading by a goal to 0.
Yeah, another corner to defend now, and as you say, not long left of the half. Charlton are going to want to make sure they go in with the lead.
Over comes the Palace corner towards the far post, headed up into the air. Charlton with some defending to do again. It's gone behind all the goal keeps given. It's look from here, it may have taken a touch off a Charlton player, but do you hear me complaining, Lewis?
Not at all, mate. Not at
Thought
all.
not.
So we've got two players injured now.
Oh dear. Hopefully this is just a time-wasting ploy from the Addicts and we haven't just accidentally decimated our entire team. I think they'll be okay by the looks of it. Yeah, we're hoping to be joined by a special guest at the start of the second half. Thomas Sandgaard, the owner of the Charlton Athletic men's and women's side, he's here today. Come to visit the splendour of Hayes Lane. And he'll hopefully be joining us early on in the second half for a bit of a conversation to give us his views on the game and how it's been going so far. He'll probably tell us what he saw in training with Nigel Adkins so far this week as well. Palace again down the left-hand side. Comes across towards the near post, but it's out for a goal kick, yeah. So very unusual for a club owner to have to hire 2 managers in the space of a week. But see, Karen Hills came in a couple of days before Nigel Adkins. Don't know if anyone follows Nigel on Twitter, but in his incredibly positive morning videos he put up, he did mention that he's come in today. I understand he is here at Hayes Lane watching the side, all part of the Charlton family. Just when we are allowed to again properly, I do advise you to come down to some games at the Oakwood in Crayford. Probably be next season now, but you're really missing out if you haven't been down. It's a lovely family feel to the club. You see some good games as well. I mean, we mentioned that 4-0 against Palace here. We've got to talk about that 2-1 win over Palace a couple of years ago when Charlie Clifford scored the winner in added on time. Controversial winner to say the least. It went through the legs of Gemma Bryan, former Palace and back at Palace, I think. Well, she was back at Palace, and she was so far offside. It was embarrassing that the goal was given, but the lino ruled it out, then changed his mind and gave the goal, and Charlton won it 2-1. It was hilarious. Right, here come Palace again down the left-hand side. Wilson trying to get the cross in. It's a goal kick again, excellent.
It's brilliant defending,
I have to say, by
Vassell. Yeah, brilliant.
Vassell's had a really strong first half for Charlton down this right-hand side.
Yeah, it's really impressed me all half. I think she's been great going forward, dangerous with the ball, quick feet. Palace have really struggled with her on this near side, and doing what she needs to do there defensively, managed to usher the ball away.
Yeah, Charlie Clifford it was who scored that winner a couple of seasons ago in that game at the Oakwood. She likes a goal against Crystal Palace. Is scoring a 1-1 draw here as well. Charlton's leading appearance maker. She broke that with her 273rd appearance earlier on this season. If you saw the interview with her on the club social media, she knows exactly what this fixture means to fans of both sides. And ball over the top. Palace with their first little bit of defending to do for a while. It goes back to the goalkeeper, Morgan, but she hacks it away. It's from a similar pass back like that she made a mistake in the game at the Oakwood on the opening day that Jess King scored from.
Yeah, it wasn't the most generous of returns there, was it?
Not too long to go before half-time now. It's 2 minutes plus any stoppages. Charlton have the throw-in on that left-hand side, front of the open terrace here at Bromley's Hayes Lane, backs onto Norman Park, for those of you who know the local area. It's a cricket pitch behind that game. I remember once watching a Bromley game that was so boring, quite a few of us turned around to watch the cricket. Can't say the same about this game though, because the Addicts have the lead and have the ball inside Palace's final third on that left-hand side. Oh, chance pass just overcooked there, and it rolls through to the goalkeeper. So a minute and a bit to go before half-time. Charlton leading by a goal to nil. Morgan's hoof up the field, goes straight out of play in front of the dugouts, where I imagine Karen Hills will be fairly pleased with what she's seen so far in the first game.
Yeah, 100%. I think the girls have been the better side. As I say, I think they've taken advantage of when they've been in the ascendancy and Palace haven't. I think they've dealt with it well when Palace have had the better of the ball. It's been a fairly even contest so far, but as I say, Charlton are ones making the most of the chances. And yeah, we've said so far a lot of performances in this first half from individuals. Alicia Suula, Shauna Vassell have been very impressive.
Charlton have restricted Palace mainly to long-range efforts from the edge of the area that have gone over the bar. Once or twice Eartha Cummins had to be sharp off her line to cut out through balls, but she's done that very well so far. Can the Addicts maybe make one more chance before half-time? They lead here by a goal to nil. Ball will be hacked away by Palace up towards the halfway line. Smith lets it bounce, it goes over her head, but Vassell does the right thing, covering that ball, and it's back to Cummins, whose clearance up into the air. All over to Palace left, but it's out for a throw.
It was a good bit of pressure from Ella Powell there, managed to just put under a little bit of pressure, and the ball rolls out of play. And yeah, Charlton will be happy now to have this throw just to ease towards half time.
Griffiths underneath that in the middle of the park for the Addicts, and again lifts the ball up towards Suola on the halfway line, happy to keep hold of possession, and plays it back to Smith, who will clear the ball towards King, but it's cut out by Palace. Ball's up in the air. Waldy wins the header for Palace. Griffiths and Clifford there hunting impacts to win the ball back for Charlton, and King holds it up so well, doesn't she? And the ball will be played over with a nice slotted ball over to that left-hand side. Good pace on the Far side for the Addicts. Excellent run. Can the cross come in? In it comes. It's behind though for a goal kick. Good play though down that left-hand side.
Yeah, brilliant play, and again some really good work in the middle as well. Great ball out, some great football by Charlton there, and yeah, put Palace under a bit of pressure, but the ball just behind.
Didn't see how much added time has been given in this game, but we've played a minute and a half so far in this first half. The referee has seen a foul there, so Charlton will get one more chance perhaps to lift this ball up towards that penalty area in front of the Glyn Beverley stand here at Bromley. Such missed figure amongst Bromley fans. Glyn?
Just a slight push on Suilla in the middle again. We've mentioned she's winning everything in the middle, testing with everything.
Decided to go down the left-hand side instead. Straight for a goal kick. I would have been tempted just to chuck that one into the mixer these last few seconds. Caused a bit of chaos. I didn't like it earlier when it came in from the corner. It's great to hear Ratish Mishra still barking out instructions on that far side. He's so loud that I was once walking in Avery Hill Park and heard him giving training on the Charlton Sparrows Lane training ground. That's how loud he is. But there is the half-time whistle. The Addicts with a priceless lead given to them by Lois Huchan's header. Just before the 20-minute mark, a corner over towards that far post was flicked on, and there was the Scottish fullback just to touch it in. So it's Charlton who have the lead here at half-time in the FA Women's Championship. We'll be back after a short break. Don't forget to join us at the start of the second half. We're hoping to be joined by the Charlton owner, Thomas Sandgaard, and we'll see if the Addicts can hold on for what would be a very valuable 3 points. Half-time here, Hayes Lane in Bromley. It's Crystal Palace 0, Charlton Athletic 1. Well, welcome back to Hayes Lane in Bromley, where we're watching Crystal Palace versus Charlton Athletics, the Addicts, who hold a 1-0 lead at the break. That was Hoikan's goal. 17 minutes or so into this game, has Charlton in the lead. I'm delighted to say now that we're joined here on the live stream at Hayes Lane by the owner of both Charlton Athletic men's and women's side now, Thomas Sangard. Thomas, welcome to the stream. How are you? How have you enjoyed your week in the country so far?
Yeah, hey Lewis, I'm doing great, thank you. And obviously it's always nice to be up and winning against Crystal Palace.
That is the right
1-0
answer.
so far.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What have you made of the first half from Karen Hill's new side? You know, having the lead here, and it could be a big 3 points if the Addicts can hold on.
Yeah, our team obviously looked. They look very solid all around. Winning a lot of the second balls, and they definitely. You can tell they have a very good understanding of the game and created quite a few chances. And especially we've been dangerous in corner kicks and set pieces. It's been looking good.
I'm obviously delighted for Karen, who's come in and for her first game to have started so well. Obviously, your appointment. I mean, tell us a little bit about what you know about her, what it was about her that made you want to bring her into the club.
Yeah, obviously, other than having played for Charlton many years ago, she's had a great career primarily at Tottenham, and we're bringing all of her experience into the team. So I'm sure as we move forward, we're going to see a lot of improvements, and I expect we'll be in a good position already next season.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the job that she did with Spurs, and I guess you probably want to see her repeat the trick here at Charlton. You know, looking to take the club full time in the summer. You want to build up into that side that will go into the top tier.
Of course, and eventually I want this team to be in the Super League.
The second half is underway here at Hayes Lane, so Charlton leading by that
nice header
goal to nil. Yeah, defended well in the opening stages here. Yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit more about your plans to take the club full time as well, and what changes that will mean for the club.
Yeah, obviously we have ambitions for the women's team as well, and as we see women's sports and women's football in general getting more and more interest, and TV rights and TV money is slowly getting better. This is going to be important for the whole club as a whole, that we invest and put resources into the women's team.
Because we know the standing that Charlton's women's team had when the men's team were in the Premier League. You know, Charlton were one of the biggest clubs in the women's game. Won the FA Cup with Karen Hills as a player.
Right,
is that what you've got your eye on again?
Absolutely. I think the potential is there. And there are many clubs that are beginning to invest more resources in women's teams, but I think we'll pretty much have a head start on developing that side of our club compared to many other clubs around the country.
And I'd say there's a fan base out there for the Charlton Athletic women's side. Obviously, everyone watching the stream this evening, I'm sure, will be interested. I've been down to games at the Oakwood in Crayford where there's been decent crowds down there, and we'd love to see more Charlton fans go, and when they can, go down and support the women's team.
I'm sure the interest is going to keep growing. That's what all the analysis shows. And we're going to have a nice set piece here.
Yeah, good chance this is for Charlton. Just a minute and a half into the second half. Rutherford got an assist, didn't she, against Coventry from similar range. It comes the ball into the near side, but it's hacked away, looking for Jess King, but it's well defended by Palace. Obviously, you've had a busy couple of weeks, Thomas, but you're in the country now. You got to go and spend a day at the training ground today. Was it with Nigel Adkins as well? Did you enjoy yourself? Did you?
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Stake a claim to be starting Charlton's game at Doncaster in a couple of weeks?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of good shooting practice today, so that was fun. So I'm just waiting for to get the call.
Yeah. I mean, Nigel's
to see if Nigel is going to get me in on the.
I mean, he's a chance here for Charlton as Rutherford's ball goes in, but it's well saved by Morgan at the near post. I mean, obviously, Nigel's here today. Yeah. Nigel's here today as well. I mean, anyone who's seen his videos on social media shows that he's really buying into the togetherness and the family nature of Charlton as a club as well.
Yeah, he's got a great personality, perfect for Charlton, and he's so positive, and it really shows. It rubs off on the entire team and the staff, everywhere around the club. Oh, they're getting loud down there. It's a Charlton's row.
Yeah, the Charlton throw in the end. I think there was a slight disagreement there between the officials as to which one that one should go, but it has gone the way of the Addicts, who still lead by a goal to nil 3 minutes into the second half. What do you make of the Hayes Lane Stadium as well, Thomas? I'll cause some...
Yeah, you know what, the pitch is artificial turf, and it's really good. Gotta admit, of course, at this time of the year, a lot of grass pitches are not in good shape. Even though you prefer to play on grass, but this is a really, really nice pitch they got out here.
Depends which area of Charlton fan you're talking to, but if you ask me, I think Bromley are certainly up there as one of the better non-league sides around. But I think any Welling and Dartford supporting Charlton fans won't be too happy with that. Yeah. So, you know, looking at aims for the women's team this season, I think staying up is obviously number one aim.
Staying away from relegation is the main thing. If they keep this result here, I think we'll be in a good position.
Yeah, I said that going into the Lewis game a couple of weeks ago. If Charlton had won that, I think that would have been it for me. But then Coventry went and got a surprise win that day, and Charlton only got a point, and all of a sudden it's a little bit tighter than you want it to be. But if the Addicts can get 3 points here, it could be massive for their hosts. Well, Thomas, an absolute pleasure to have you on the live stream.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a great time in London.
Yeah, I'll let you go back and sit back with the happiest man in the world, Nigel Atkins.
There you go.
Cheers, Thomas.
Thanks.
Cheers. There we go, Thomas Sangard, the owner of the Charlton Athletic men's and women's side. Really grateful for him for joining us here on this live stream on Charlton Athletic's YouTube. The Addicts leading by a goal to nil here against Crystal Palace. Oh, I think the referee's just tripped up one of the Charlton players there. Is that what it did? My eyes deceive me, or should he be giving himself a yellow card there?
Come on, ref.
I think it was Suola who went down. But Palace have ended up with a free kick. I guess that's what happens if you get fouled by the referee, the other team get a free kick. That's a new rule I didn't know. But no, we are 5 minutes into the second half. Charlton leading here by a goal to nil. If the Addicts can hang on, and there's a lot of football to be played yet, they would go 6 points clear of the relegation zone with a game in hand over London Bees, who sit below them. In comes the Palace free kick now towards the edge of the area. Charlton player goes down. The referee didn't see anything wrong with that, and Palace will look to recycle possession again. It's chipped over towards the far post over the head of Vassell. In comes the low ball for Palace, cut out by Smith at the near side for Charlton, and the Addicts will bring it away.
There's a couple of dangerous balls in there from Palace as well. The one deep that Charlton managed to just deal with, then it was recycled and back in as well. And again, Charlton cleared their lines well.
We'll try and deal with the danger there. And it's out for a goal kick. It came to the game here when Charlton used Hayes Lane as a home venue against Blackburn a few weeks ago. And the Addicts did have a 1-0 lead at half-time through Rachel Nubra's penalty, but they were defending for almost the entirety of the second period, conceded a penalty about 10 minutes into that one, and then had to hang on for dear life. But they're hoping they can try and keep more of a foothold in this game. Blackburn, of course, the side that Charlton beat in the second game of the season with Jess King's goal right at the death. By the counts, the Addicts were second best in that game, but it shows if you stick in to a game, a chance might just come at the very end. So Palace will be thinking that. Charlton will be making sure that doesn't happen. The referee's given a free kick there. Not happy with the challenge from Charlie Clifford. So Palace will have a chance to whip this one into the penalty area. Some defending to do for the Addicts. For Cummins, just barking out some instructions. Just a one-player wall from Vassell here. You can hear the Palace coaches giving instructions. In comes the ball. It's a dangerous-looking ball, but it's well headed away by Suola. She's got that height, hasn't she, at the near post. Does well there to defend her box for the side. In it comes again towards the edge of the area. Charlton struggling to clear their lines here. Bouncing around, bit of pinball, but it'll break into space where Cummins will dive on top of that and relieve the pressure for the Addicts, who lead here by a goal to nil.
Yeah, it was some good, a couple of good chances for Palace there. A well-recycled ball in from Hannah Churchill. And well gathered eventually by the Cummins. And Palace have started the brighter this half so far.
Good for King, that ball, but it's going to be picked up by Churchill, the former Charlton player. Sprays it over to the left-hand side. There she is again, Vassell. She's having an excellent game, isn't she, on that right-hand side? And she's driving the Addicts forward here, almost single-handedly, gaining some yardage. This is brilliant play from the former Arsenal player, and she wins a free kick. Superb intervention there from Shauna Vassell.
Absolutely brilliant play from Vassell. Again, just so much pace on that right-hand side. We saw it in the first half. Palace struggled to deal with it, and she's given the same issues again this half.
Rate her really highly. I saw her debut, which she scored in against Palace. I think we did stream that game on Valley Pass at the start of the season. She popped up with a late equaliser. For a young player, she very much enjoyed getting that goal. She's playing out of her skin so far today. And Charlton creates something on that right-hand side. In comes the cross. Back away by Palace. Dean Davenport, the Palace manager. He'll be disappointed with what he's seen so far. It's Charlton who hold the lead here. Calm play that was by Grace Coombs to the goal scorer. Hoi Chan on the left-hand side. She's looking for Suola. She's happy to let the ball go out for a Charlton throw in the end.
She's absolutely everywhere, isn't she? Suola, she's been fantastic as well.
Did you make of Thomas Sandgaard's long-term plans for the club? You know, I spoke about Charlton's place in the women's game a few years ago. You know, I remember it seemed to be every year they were on the TV in the FA Cup final, and I remember watching that one on BBC against Everton when Eni Aluko scored the winner at Upton Park. You know, it makes you know, it's a sense of pride. Charlton we don't win too many trophies, do we? So it's nice to see it happen like that.
100%. It's as we've said with the men's side, really, it's a bit of a sleeping giant, the women's side, and with the right investment and the right owner with Thomas coming in now, it's going to provide a real stepping stone for the women to kick on and try and get back to those heights again. Because as you say, they were the real glory days, and I remember as a youngster following Charlton women through those successes. And yeah, I'm sure, as Thomas says, I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow him really, but you know, he's made it very clear his aspirations, not just for the men's side but also for the women's setup as well. And it's an exciting time for the football club in both teams.
Yeah, found by Clifford. Yeah, I mean, both you and Thomas had mentioned today about the influx of money into the women's game. I think Sky Sports have picked up a string. I think BBC are going to be showing some games as well. You know, it's going to get bigger, and the England performances at the last couple of tournaments, you know, that World Cup a couple of years ago when they got into the latter stages, as the free kick comes over for Palace, you know, plenty of people were watching that, and household names come from it. And it will only get bigger and bigger, and Thomas wants to make sure that Charlton are part of that. As Palace come again down the right-hand side, excellent footwork. But who's there to mop up once more? It's Vassell. Absolutely everywhere for the Addicts so far this evening.
Some really nice footwork from Bianca Baptiste, but as you say, dealt with well again by Vassell. She's been absolutely outstanding.
Jess King holding the ball up well. A couple of times she's done that now for the Addicts, but she can't get the ball back off. I think that was Griffiths in the middle of the park who tried to play it forward. Oh, Suola, non-stop running from her tonight. She charges down the clearance. Almost falls to Nubra. In the end, Charlton win the throw-in on this left-hand side. 12 minutes gone in the second half. The Addicts still lead by a goal to nil. Down the line goes the throw. Cross is blocked. I think that just went out for a throw, just the wrong side of the corner flag, as the Addicts were looking at it. Front of the terraced ends here at Hayes Lane. So short, comes back to Hoykens, tries to lift it in towards the near post, but it'll go behind for the goal kick. Yeah, just I'm going to say it every game I go to, unfortunately, at the moment, but it'd be different with just a few Charlton fans and a few Palace fans in here. It would make the atmosphere even better, wouldn't it?
100%. You know, we go back to the game that we witnessed a few years ago, the 2-1 win at the Oakwood. The atmosphere that day was fantastic. I mean, the scenes when that winner went in was just outstanding. And as we mentioned earlier, you know, the women's game is developing massively. We've been following the women's side for a long time now, and we've been lucky enough to sponsor them with Charlton Live and follow them as well as supporters. And it's a really nice setup here and a nice family feel. And as you said in the first half, I really recommend Charlton fans, once we're allowed back in stadiums again, to get down to the Oakwood and support the girls, because it really is a lovely setup. Yeah,
we were privileged to be able to cover the women's side on the Charlton Live podcast, try and get interviews. I try to get down to as many games as possible. And in comes a deep cross. So there's a chance here. It might fall to Rutherford. She placed it towards goal. Is well blocked. No suggestion of handball that time, but it was a chance there for Rutherford. But the Palace defender did well just to get her chest in the way.
Yeah, it's a great block from Amber Stolz, but I think she's feeling the effects of it now. But that was goal bound. She did well to get in front of that.
Stobbs, a former Charlton player, with the block denying her former side a second goal. The Addicts still leading by a goal to nil, 14.5 minutes gone in this second half. What a lovely touch that was. Suola, she's driving with the ball over the Women's Championship this evening. There's a full round of games coming up on Sunday. I believe that every game is going to be streamed. Charlton certainly is. It's free on Valley Pass on Sunday, away at London City Lionesses, or Charlton B, as we refer to them in the first half. They do have a lot of former Charlton players in their ranks. There's a Juffy, former Player of the Year, is over there. One of the many. They're a decent outfit. Should be a tight game though. Palace coming again down the left-hand side. Charlton with plenty of players behind the ball, almost two flat banks of four, one on the edge of the area, one just inside it, but the referee spotted a foul there, so this is going to be a big chance for Palace to try and test Eartha Cummins and her back line.
It was a great bit of footwork from the Palace player there, just caught by Alicia Suella. She tried to recover the ball. Free kick in a fairly dangerous position given the deliveries we've seen so far from both sides.
It was an away win here on Tuesday when Sutton came and beat Bromley. The Alex will be hoping for the same result today. They'll have to defend this free kick. Again, you might hear the Palace coaches offering some advice here as the free kick is going to be whipped over, left-footed. It's a decent-looking delivery. Coombs heads it up into there. She bounces off her own goalkeeper, and the referee now has stopped play. That was a really brave header, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Really, really brave header and a nasty collision by the looks of it. Cummings came for the ball, got it away, but in also taking the player out as well. And that looks like a bit of a nasty one.
Referee just took a moment there to decide to stop play for the injury until it went out of play. I don't think Karen Hills and her coaching staff would have been too happy if Palace were allowed to whip that one back in. It's hard to tell for certain if it's a head injury. It was the Charlton goalkeeper that came out and collided with her defender. Charlton players taking a chance now to go over to Karen Hills on that far side, the new Addicks head coach. Former Charlton captain Simon Webster is the physio for the women's team. You may or may not know. Would have seen him on Valley Pass the other day. Do you remember Webo's playing days? Ever so slightly before my time.
Yeah, same for me, mate.
Yeah.
It's that little bit before, but it's really nice. That's a big feature of Valley Pass Live, isn't it? It's great to hear from past players with their stories.
I've always said it shows the sort of club that Charlton is, though, that its former players want to stay around, hang around in some guise. That's what Webo's done, a physiotherapist for the women's team. Dixon, a good example of that, of course. Charlton through and through, works for the Community Trust, a Charlton player, now on the coaching staff as well, a legend in the Charlton women's side. Very nice as well. She joined us on the London to Amsterdam bike ride a couple of years ago for Prostate Cancer UK, the same charity that Nigel Adkins is doing all these walks for in the morning. Nigel here today, the new Addicks boss. But he's had a fascinating couple of weeks. You know, he saw his side at Wimbledon on Saturday. First look at them, saw them at their best and their worst, I guess. You know, going forward, attacking, particularly in that first half. I thought Charlton played very well. Second half, that slightly soft underbelly we've seen with Akin Fainwo making an uncharacteristic mistake for him. Perhaps a characteristic mistake for the side, unfortunately. But you know, Nigel will be pleased to have this international break to learn a bit more about his team, and you know, looking forward to attacking that game at Doncaster a week tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for him now to take stock, speak to the players. I know he said he was having one-on-one meetings with the players this week. It's been great to see his videos on Twitter, hasn't it, of him around the training ground. And yeah, it's a good time for him to come in, you know, work with the players, implement what he wants to do. It's not going to change overnight, but we still find ourselves in a fairly decent position, pushing for that top six. So a lot of football to be played between now and the start of May. So we can only win what's in front of us.
Yeah. I heard a funny story about Nigel today, and we've been talking about how he's the happiest and the nicest man in football. Well, I didn't realise, I got told today you got someone at the training ground saw him doing the tea run as well. We come out with a big tray of cups of tea.
He hasn't made us one yet, though.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually, Nigel. Come on. Chilly up here.
He's the kind of guy, I imagine, if we went down there and said, I want a cup of tea, he would drive to to the closest place he could get one and get one for us as well.
I think if Nigel Adkins made me a cup of tea, because now Ali McCoy, in my younger days, offered to make me a cup of tea once. It's a long story. I was at ITV Studios and Ali McCoy. So is it better to be offered by Nigel Adkins or Ali McCoy?
Oh, it's got to be Nigel, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah.
If Nigel actually brings you the tea as well.
Yeah. Right. It looks like the injured player, so it wasn't Grace Coombs. Who was it on that far side? It is hard to tell under the lighting here at Bromley. It's not the best, but she's coming back into the action. Running over, and it is Charlie Clifford, who was... Is it? Yeah, it is Charlie Clifford who was down injured, but she's back on her feet now, back in the action. So I have to say that was a supremely brave header from Charlie Clifford to clear the danger there, and Charlton have survived the ball as it came back in. So good to see her back on her feet as well. The Charlton record appearance maker loves the goal against Crystal Palace. Hopefully she can get one for the Addicks this evening. So that was a lengthy stoppage there. I think we're looking at least 3 or 4 minutes of added time already in this second half. With midway through the second period, it's still the Addicks who lead in this South London derby by 1-0. Some movement on the Crystal Palace bench. I wonder if they're thinking of introducing a substitute soon. So it might be Coral Jade Haynes, who's going to make her way all the way around the other side of the pitch. Social distancing rules saying that the players are actually sat here where we're commentating from in the John Fiorini stand here at Bromley. The dugouts are on the far side of the pitch, so any player who wants to go and come on as a sub has to go out and then run around the pitch, as we can see Jade Haynes doing now for the home side, who trail by a goal to nil. The Addicts in charge in terms of the scoreline. They'll be hoping for a second here as they come forward down the left-hand side. Rutherford's ball into King inside the area. Did that hit a hand? Now the referees said no immediately. Charlton aren't so sure about that. Lewis, it bounced up. Did it struck the arm?
It looked like it to me, to be honest. It looked like it bounced up. Again, bit of an unnatural position. Similar to the first half, really. We had a similar call, didn't we, early on in the first half?
Referee says no. That's a couple of half-hearted appeals, perhaps, for penalties, although I'd say that one there was a stronger appeal. I thought Charlton should have had one in the first half for handball. Players certainly thought that was a good shout just then, but the referee not making the decision. Charlton have already had 2 penalties at this ground, as I said earlier on. Then they've had played a couple of home games here. They had a penalty against Blackburn Rovers and against Liverpool. Rachel Nubra and Charlie Clifford scoring those 2. They've been successful from the spot here at Hayes Lane so far this season, but they haven't been given the chance this evening. The Palace are making a change now, and it is Nat Kill who's making way. She had a couple of efforts in the first half that went over the bar. It will be Coral Jade Haynes coming on for Crystal Palace. Dean Davenport obviously had a lot of time to think about that one, and this is a decision he's made.
Yeah, and Charlton are going to have to watch out because, I mean, she's got a decent goal scoring record. She's got 4 goals this season. Only Bianca Baptiste has scored more for Palace this season. Sherelle Cassau on equal figures, but 4 goals. So Charlton are going to have to keep an eye, especially with both Baptiste and Coral Jade Haynes on the pitch now. There's a lot more attacking threat for Palace as they try and get themselves back into this game.
Just seen the rain started to come down now on the plastic playing surface here at Hayes Lane. Will make it a little bit more zippy. Like Charlton, again, when they played Liverpool here last month, it was snowing, and they dealt with that okay. To get the orange football out, classic. Don't see enough football played in snow these days, do you? But I guess you don't have as many plastic pitches around as perhaps is necessary to see that. Is that a foul on that far side? Well, I'm surprised the referees let that one go. It looked like a late challenge. Rutherford does well just to get foot in there, though, and ease a bit of pressure for the Addicts. Grace Coombs there with the John Smith style clearance. And it's picked up in the midfield. Clifford plays over to the right hand side. Be out for a Charlton throw.
Thought there may have been a slight push there as well. I'm surprised that the ref didn't see that.
Referee's got something against us, Lewis.
Must
saying
have
it now.
already tripped a couple of players over.
Yeah. There we go. He's all this forgiven. He's given Charlton a free kick on the halfway line. Rutherford immediately making her way into space on this left-hand side, looking to stretch that Palace defence.
Charlton want to try and work it onto this left-hand side because you have got Rutherford in a bit of space. Amber Stubbs has got an eye on her, but she's still stepping off a little bit.
Taken shortly there, the Addicts free kick, and it's going to be lifted into the area, looking for King. Tries to bring it down on her chest, but it's not the best touch, and Palace will clear. And here comes the charge over the halfway line. Strong run by the substitute. Over to the right-hand side it goes now. Palace with the chance. They can try and find space edge of the area. In comes the right-footed shot, but it's dribbled wide. First opening or first real bit of excitement we've seen for Palace for a little while, but that will boost the manager Davenport a little bit there.
Yeah, a bit of a lively entrance from Coral Jade Haynes there. As we said, Charlton have got to keep an eye on her because she is dangerous. Bit of pace, burst through. Luckily, the shot just dragged wide at the end there. It looked like it could have fallen to the Palace striker, number 19. I can't see who that is, but it looked like she was in a position, but maybe just offside. So quite fortunate they've managed to just get our lines clear.
So the referee's having a word with one of the Charlton players here. Yellow card has come out for Alice Griffiths. Referee obviously not happy. I think in the build up there, in the break, there was perhaps a little trip from the Welsh midfielder. So the referee puts her name in the book. For Cummins in no rush to take this goal kick. The Palace coaching staff get a little bit impatient. It's a good goal kick, and it was flicked on by Griffiths, and then Rutherford will go down the line for Jess King, the Addicks top scorer. I think she's going to win a corner there.
Yeah.
And she's done really well on that left-hand side. Charlton have the set piece now.
Brilliant. It was a great bit of play by Rutherford. A great flick over for Jess King, and just took a slight touch, but nicked off the Palace player, and it's run out for a corner. Be hoping for another decent delivery here, Louis.
Can Charlton add a second? They scored from a corner in the first period. Can they repeat the trick here? Over it comes. It's a right foot on this one towards the near post. So it goes all the way through. Oh, I think there was a chance there for Jess King at the near post.
Just needed a touch, didn't it? Just needed a touch, and again, a great delivery on that far side, near side. Sorry, and yeah, Charlton will be a bit annoyed they didn't make the most of that. They could just needed a slight touch, and that would have just nestled in the bottom corner on that far side.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball in towards the near post. Charlton have scored from a set piece this evening. They've scored from set pieces recently. Ella Rutherford got 2 assists, didn't she, against Coventry? Here we go. Here come Palace again. Game's become a little bit more open in the last few moments as Palace have the ball on the edge of the area. Clifford doing their best to stand them up, but then comes across. It had to be offside, and the flag has gone up. The left-footed strike was mistimed and off target anyway, but it was a clear offside there.
It was, yeah. She was quite a way offside, but again, it's a good opportunity for Palace. They're having a bit more luck with their attacking play now, and Charlton are going to want to make sure that they keep an eye on that now as we get deeper into the second half.
Can see a substitute being lined up on the far side. Looks like it's Suola who's making way. Is that Bian Sampson who's coming on? It is Bian Sampson who's come on for the Addicks, another former Arsenal player at West Ham and London City Lionesses, and also San Marino Academy, which is a side I didn't know existed until we signed Bian earlier on in the January window, and I looked that up. I thought it was fascinating. But yeah, she's one of those players that I think, again, added a little bit to the Charlton side, especially when it came down to that game against Blackburn. She was, I think that may have been her debut, and she added a bit of bite to that midfield, and that's what Karen Hills has decided to add to this Charlton side. You win a free kick. We've got, just under 13 minutes of normal time left to go, but there will be a fair old chunk of added time after Charlie Clifford's injury earlier on in this second period. Grace Coombs is going to take this free kick for Charlton, who'd love a second goal, and she'll pump it into the channel, looking for Ella Rutherford. It's going to put the defender under a little bit of pressure, but he goes straight out for the goal kick in the end. Yeah,
she just tried to get ahead of Amber Stubbs, but she managed to deal with it in the end. Another former Addicks player, Amber Stubbs.
Rutherford taking no chances with that one and playing the ball down the line. I think it's gone out for a throw-in in the worst possible position, really, for Crystal Palace, right by their own corner flag. They're trying to steal a solid 10 yards there, maybe more. The referee's allowed it, so Palace get the throw-in and play it into the middle of the park. Sampson now with some running back to do the Charlton substitute. But the ball's played over to the right-hand side. Vassell goes across to try and see this one defended for the Addicks. They cut back inside, still have possession of the ball. Crystal Palace shooting opportunity perhaps on the edge of the area. Sampson trying to make herself difficult to beat. The shot does come in, but it's well defended in the end by the Addicts. Jess King back to try and help out in the midfield here. Palace with another little bit of sustained pressure, although Charlie Clifford does superbly to get a foot in and touch the ball off for King. And the Addicts might have a counter-attack on here over on that right-hand side. 2 players in the middle to aim for. And they're still going down the right-hand side, the Addicts. Crossing opportunity over. It comes towards the far post. King's arriving late, but she's not able to keep it in. Goes out for the goal kick.
Just managed to break away. There looks like Amber Sobs hurt herself in the middle as it came away. But as we mentioned, it's Coral Jade Haynes. She's added something to this Palace side now. She's come on, finding themselves in a lot more dangerous positions. She's got great footwork as well, trying to get forward, and it's causing Charlton a bit of an issue in the middle. I think Sampson's given her just a little bit too much space.
That is a free kick there. The goal scorer, Lois Hoichan, she made the challenge, and then the ball was given back to Palace, but she was sort of fouled in the process, and the referee made the right decision there. But it was a bit of cramp for a Palace player just outside the centre circle. So we will have a little bit of a break while we wait for this Charlton free kick to be lined up.
I think it's Stobbs that's down. I think she slipped over in the build-up play when she was trying to close down Charlton, and she stayed down for a little bit. I thought she may have gone over funny on her shoulder or something, but she must have cramped up. Yeah. Seems like she's going to be okay. Can imagine it can get quite slippy, a plastic pitch like this in the rain. Charlton are going to have this free kick with Rutherford. 4 players to aim for on the edge of the Palace area. Left-footed now from Rutherford towards the edge of the box. It bounces dangerously. Palace half clear it. King's going to try and chase this one. And in the end, the Eagles will get it up towards the halfway line, goes through Sampson, but Smith isn't going to make the same mistake and lifts it towards the edge of the Palace penalty area. Purcell again with the ball. Very good for the Addicts this evening, and she can't keep that one in play though, and Palace will have a throw-in which goes down the line quickly. Taken again, Charlton plenty back to try and deal with this one. They don't let the cross come in. Karen will be very pleased with that, but she'll want some more from her side there. I think there was Sampson back out helping with that defensive header there. Oh, that's excellent defending on that far side, and Charlton win the free kick again to ease the pressure. Yeah, brilliant defending there, and Charlton needs to be careful because Palace are starting to get on the front foot. Obviously, not long left now in this game, probably about 10 minutes or so. So Charlton going to have to really knuckle down and defend hard, try and grind out this win, and even maybe push for that second goal to try and shore things up a little bit. They're under a little bit of unnecessary pressure at the moment, so a second goal would give that bit of breathing space for Karen Hill's side. Seen late goals in this fixture before, normally for the Addicts. Mentioned that one from Charlie Clifford and Shauna Vassell's leveller on the opening day of this season over at Crayford to make it 2-2. Came off the bench that day, but I think she's been one of the more impressive players for me this season. Started 12 league games for Ratish and Karen Hill's side. 13 now, if you include this evening. There's a little foul there from Vassell. That's what happens when tiredness setting in. We're into the last 10 minutes of normal time, aren't we? Then start to make those more desperate challenges and you put a little bit of pressure on yourself, but trying to look to deal with this again. Now becomes the free kick for Palace. Cummins has come off her line. It's headed out of her hands by the Charlton player, but Charlton will hack it clear. Had to deal with that there. Cummins came for it. She managed to get something to it, but just not quite enough, and it nearly fell dangerously for Palace, but luckily Charlton deal with it. Palace coming again down the right-hand side. In comes the cross towards the penalty spot, but it's hacked away. That was Powell that was back there to make that clearance. Palace look to launch the ball forward towards the edge of the Charlton penalty area again, unchallenged this time. They're able to bring the ball down. Griffiths now back in there to get a foot in. Rutherford join in as well, but here's Griffiths, and there is that close control of the ball that I said she has to bring the ball out of play. King, simple touch off for Rutherford.
Ella Rutherford happy to play it down into the channel again for King to try and put pressure on the Palace defender. Just gone behind the pole as the camera looks at it there, but Palace are able to bring it away and clear it up over the halfway line. Coombs there though, she's done well this evening. Grace Coombs, Addicts captain, puts it out for a throw in front of the Charlton substitutes who are sat down to our bottom right. You can hear Lee Nichol, the former Charlton player, now on Palace's bench trying to urge her side on. Hacked out by Ella Rutherford. One of the more enjoyable social media streams I've seen this year from the club is Out of Context Ella Rutherford. It's just bizarre. They just put random pictures of her every now and then just looking happy with life. But she's worked hard down that left-hand side for the Addicts this evening and wins the header there as Jess King will hold the ball up. She has held the ball up quite well, King, at times, and did it there for Rutherford, but her ball forward, looking for Clifford, was cut out. Hoichin, the goal scorer, puts it out for a throw. Just over 5 minutes of normal time left to go. The Addicts still leading here by a 1-0. That goal came in the first half. Referee spotted a foul there, and again the pressure will be eased slightly. And again, Charlton happy to take their time for Cummins taking her time to come out of her goal.
She went a long kick forward here, won't she, Eartha Cummins? She don't want to put herself under too much pressure. She's come quite a way to take the goal, the free kick. So hopefully a decent amount of distribution on this one. Get it away, relieve the pressure.
Oh, the ball over the top. King might be in behind here. It's a tight angle. Can she keep it alive? She gets it back across. Oh, and it's touched behind. Well, out of nothing that came of King. It was a tight angle. I don't know if she was trying to go for goal at the near post or square it for a fellow Charlton player in the middle, but either way it's been touched behind for an Addicts corner.
I just said there, Eartha Cummins, I want to get that away as far as possible, and I don't think you could have got it much better.
See why?
Perfect bounce
had a
through
shot.
for Jess King. And yeah, unlucky just to get that little bit wide, and the Palace keeper's forced into the save, can only really force a corner.
Can the Addicts grab a second? In comes the corner. It's a decent looking ball. It's headed up into the air and it drops wide.
Straight onto the head there, wasn't it, as well? Just underneath it.
I think that was Charlie Clifford. Again, it was into a crowded 6-yard box there, but she couldn't quite arc her neck and get it powered towards the goal. But there's a good chance there for the Addicts. They look dangerous from set pieces this evening.
I've been really impressed overall with the distribution from both sides, but Charlton specifically have been fantastic. All corners have led to a threat.
It's a threat here at the other end though, as Palace look to try and find space for the cross, but the ball forward dribbles out for the goal kick. And again, Eartha Cummins in no rush to take this one. Why's she running? Slow down.
Walk, Ella. Yeah, walk, Eartha, walk.
Yeah, represented Scotland as Eartha Cummins at youth levels. Wearing the number 13 here. I have to recommend actually, while we've got a quick break in play, if you want to hear a very interesting podcast with former Charlton goalkeeper Katie Startup, if you search for the Mental Well Balling podcast that is run by Charlton club photographer Kyle Andrews, spoke to Katie Startup a few weeks ago, and it's really interesting sort of dive into women's football and the mental health aspects of the game as well. So I have to recommend that you search that one out. But for now, we're watching the last few moments of this game here at Hayes Lane in Bromley, where Charlton lead Palace by 1-0. Hoping to get a vital 3 points as they battle to stay in the FA Women's Championship. Don't forget, with Thomas Sangard taking over here at the Charlton women's side and looking to turn them into a full-time team from next year. Championship status is a vital part of that process, I think, and it will give Charlton that base to go and build and hopefully attack promotion in the next couple of years. Get up with into the Super League, where the big clubs play, where Charlton used to be back in the glory days. Karen Hills, the new Addicts head coach, knows all about that. She'll be wanting to oversee that transition back into full-time football. But for now, she'll just want to be making sure that the Addicts can hang on for 3 points as King looks to whip the ball in towards the edge of the area for the Addicts. It's well cut out. Back to the goalkeeper it goes again, and Morgan. Oh, excellent work that is. Charlie Clifford hasn't stopped running. Very popular figure amongst the Addict side there, and she held the ball up nicely. And there's space here for Griffiths, edge of the area. It wasn't the best ball to her, and she is unable to make the most of that there because they got that one right. She would have been able to run at the edge of the area.
Yeah, it was just a slightly wayward pass there from Rutherford, wasn't it, to the middle, and had herself in a decent position there as well, and she'll be disappointed they couldn't make the most of that opening there, the Addicts.
Foul there from Shauna Vassell, who's bashed away brilliantly for the Addicts this evening. I think the referee might want to have a little chat with her.
She's had a fantastic game, hasn't she, Shauna Vassell? She's been fantastic, and obviously a little speaking to now, because I think she's had to make a couple of those fouls to slow the play down a little bit, but she's had an absolutely fantastic game.
You know, wise head on young shoulders there. She's only 20 years old. Mentioned earlier she was captain of the Arsenal Academy, who the Addicts signed her from in the summer. Not long left to go here at Hayes Lane. Palace taking their time over this free kick. In fact, that's because I think Charlton are making a substitute. Yeah.
It looks like Ella Powell going.
Yeah, Ella Powell. I think quite wisely. I saw her running over towards us and I thought, where's she's going? And now it's quite clear because she was due to be the player substituted off. Try and see who that is coming on.
It's Ellie Dory.
It is Ellie Dory who's come on. She's been here for a number of years. I remember her debut in a 6-1 win over Lewis back when the Addicts used to play at Thamesmead a few years ago. Had problems with an injury, but she's on to the field of play in the closing stages here as the Addicts look to try and see this one out. Vassell's tackle comes back in. Oh, it's going to bounce around. Oh no, where's it going to go? Oh. Cummins has the ball in her hands. Well, one of the few moments of panic we've seen in the Charlton defence, and Cummins is down injured. And well, we saw it early on in the first half, a clearance that bounced off a Charlton player and drifted just wide. Almost exactly the same thing happened there, but luckily, as far as Charlton are concerned, it didn't bounce to a Crystal Palace player.
Yeah, it's another scare, isn't it? Another let-off, really. Cummins has come out bravely to gain that and get just clattered with a defender. She's taken a few hits tonight, hasn't she, Eartha Cummins? But let's hope that we can see this game out. She gets a clean sheet to go with the performance, because she hasn't had a huge amount to do in terms of big saves, but when she's been called upon to make those big 50-50 challenges and come out in those positions that can be dangerous and uncomfortable, she's done it every time and she's come out on top. So
yeah, she's put her body on the line a couple of times. Eartha Cummins diving at the feet of Palace attackers. I think Webbo is saying that she's going to be okay to continue. It's going to be a lot of added time at the end of this game. We've already seen a break in play for Charlie Clifford that was at least 3 or 4 minutes, wasn't it? And now Eartha's probably been down for a couple. You can guarantee if this was the other way around, it'd be about 1 minute of added time. But
100%, yeah, always the way.
We're into that added time now, actually. Again, I haven't seen indicated how much there is. Again, Palace getting a little bit impatient, but the ball has gone now down the line. Baptiste to take this throw for Palace. Up and under from Hoychun. No nonsense stuff there from Coombs, the Addicts captain. Smith now, a defensive partner, is happy to add some air onto the ball. Dory, I think that might have been her first touch. Palace have the chance again down this right-hand side. Hucombe with the clearance. It's going to be out for a throw in front of the Pizza Hut here at Hayes Lane. Charlton want a foul throw. Referee says no. In comes the cross. Only half cleared. In comes the volley towards the far side. It's going to go out of play. Just a snapshot inside the penalty area. We've seen a few of those from Palace this evening, but they haven't really worked for Cummins as much as Dean Davenport would like. I mean, he'll be fuming with that.
Yeah, he will. I mean, it fell fairly kindly there as well. They may have had a little bit more time than they thought, but it was, again, a great effort. But Charlton just need to try and see this out now. Again, we haven't seen an indication of how much added time, but we know there's going to be a fair bit. So they're going to have a little bit more to do now, Charlton, just to try and grind out this result. Do nothing silly in the middle. Don't give away the ball freely. Just try and grind it out.
It's going to be a nervy last few moments here. We are in stoppage time. Again, there hasn't been an indication of how much, so I'm expecting probably 5 or 6 minutes at the minimum.
There we go.
Jess King, can she ease some pressure here for the Addicts by making an attack? There's bodies in the middle. She can get her head up. Jess King, I was just possessed as she tried to make her way into the penalty area. Wins it back though for the Addicts now. Chance, can they get a second? Rutherford's ball in. I think that may well have been a shot. She didn't quite catch it perfectly. Only drifted just wide of that far post, but that really could have put the game to bed for Charlton.
Yeah, brilliant play by Jess King on this left-hand side. Managed to recover when she lost the ball. Managed to get the ball over to Ella Rutherford. And it looked like she was going to go for the cross, but I think she just got on top of the ball a little bit. It looked more like a shot towards that far post.
Palace come again now. Baptiste is in space on this right-hand side and comes across towards the far post. Vassell, it's an own goal. Oh, I don't believe it. In added time. Shauna Vassell, who's played so well this evening, but she just got her feet mixed up there and she's played the ball into the back of her own net. And Charlton could have lost 2 vital points there. In added time, as Crystal Palace won, Charlton won.
Oh, and so unfortunate for Vassell. We've been talking so much today about how well she's played, how many problems she's caused on that side. And to be honest, Charlton let the ball too freely on this near side here. Not dealt with. Ball comes in and it's a dangerous ball. And when you get a ball like that into the middle, any touch on it is going to end up in the back of the net. And sadly, it's come off Shauna Vassell.
Devastating there for Vassell. She's been one of Charlton's brightest players so far this evening, but as we said, as those crosses come in inside added time, it's likely to get nervous. And just a mix-up at the back there, and it's into the back of the Charlton net. Can they launch another attack here, or will it be Palace to try and push forward? Referee happy to let play go on there, and Sampson will lift the ball forward. Not really a Charlton player there, but it's going to be picked up by Clifford, I think, on that far side. Crossing opportunity, over it comes. It's a good ball from Vassell, headed down. Can Charlton get a foot on this with Rutherford? They can. She runs straight into trouble there, and Palace do well to come away. It's a substitute. Ains will lift the ball over into the channel. Cummins will come off her line and collect that one.
Charlton need to push for this now. We want to try and get the 3 points. We need it. We spoke so much about how big 3 points would be today in this fight to stay in the division.
It's open, isn't it? Both teams clearly going for it now. Palace with their tails up after their late leveller. We're deep into the added time now. Palace 1, Charlton 1. It's the Eagles who are coming away with it. It's a little bit untidy in the middle of the park, and Palace will pick the ball up and lift it into the area. Again, Cummins quickly off her line.
We've got to push now. Cummins has got the ball. We've got to try and push forward. We're sitting too deep. We need to try and go forward. I can hear Ratiz trying to get his team to go forward.
Yeah. Points not the end of the world again. It would move Charlton 4 points clear of the relegation zone, still with a game in hand over London Bees, who are marooned inside the 11th place. Only one team will go down from the championship this season. Griffiths just lifts the ball into the air. If Jess King can bring this down, then she's got Rutherford in support. King shakes it into the channel. There's bodies in the middle. Rutherford, can she win a corner here for the Addicts? They can. Well, can Charlton make something? We're deep into added time here at Hayes Lane. The Addicts scored their goal in the first half from a set piece just like this. Can they find a late winner?
So many good deliveries, Lou, we've spoken about. Now more than ever do we need a good delivery now to try and win this game right at the death.
Rutherford, who's gone over to take this one. The deliveries have been good this evening. Deep into added time here at Hayes Lane. Palace 1, Charlton 1. Over comes the corner now towards the far post. Oh, it's punched away by Morgan, and the referee has spotted a foul anyway, so Palace survived that. How much more added time will be added on?
It's fairly close to Morgan, wasn't it? Close to the goal. The ball was fairly along the line, to be honest. It only left Morgan to get a fist to it, and as you say, foul in the play as well.
Goal kick's taken by Palace. Griffiths again will lift it back into the Palace half. Touch forward to Jess King. She needs to turn it around the corner. There's a runner on that far side. Kings can't keep hold of it in the end. It's going to go out for a Palace throw by the home dugout. And in fact, the referee says that is that. The full-time whistle then goes here at Hayes Lane. Charlton devastated as it's Palace who get the late leveller for an own goal from the unfortunate Shauna Vassell, who had a great game for the Addicts, but just got her feet mixed up in added time there as the cross came in, played it beyond her own goalkeeper, cancelling out Lois Hucan's opener for the Addicts in the first half. Charlton look devastated, don't they? Karen Hill's first game ends 1-1 with Crystal Palace. It hurts now, Lewis, but it's another point away from the drop zone. It's only 1 defeat now in 6 games for Charlton. They'll have to take the positives from tonight, and it's hard to say that when you've just conceded a goal late on like that.
Yeah, you do. It's one of those things you have to try not to dwell on it, because we are in a fight still. There is that game in hand. There is a deficit at the bottom. You know, we have got that 4-point gap, and with the game in hand, we need to try and take advantage of that. But you know, we've played so well for the majority of that game. At a few scrappy moments towards the end, which, you know, unfortunately has led to the goal. But all in all, I think there's a lot of positives to take from that performance, and Karen Hills will be fairly happy with what she's seen. There's been some great individual displays in that side today, and you know, one of them being Shauna Vassell, who unfortunately turned it into her own net right at the end. But they have to not dwell on it, you know, try and move from here, because if you dwell on it now at 2 points dropped, then, you know, confidence is going to be low going into the weekend's game, and so we're not in a position to be like that right now. We've got to kick on, look at the positives. There were some great displays out there. Some of the attacking play, the delivery from set pieces were a threat every single time. And yeah, look, it's 2 points dropped in my opinion, because I think for the majority we were the better side. I think Coral Jade Haynes changed it for Palace when she came on in the second half. She gave them a different dimension attacking wise. But look, plenty of positives to take. It hurts now, as you say, because right at the death, it always will. But there's positives. We're still 4 points clear of the drop zone. Football to be played, work to do. And yeah, we've got to kick on from here.
So a point apiece in the end. The South London derby ends. Crystal Palace 1, Charlton 1. Don't forget the Addicts back in action on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff against London City Lionesses. It's an away game, but you will be able to stream the game for free on the Valley Pass. So make sure you get signed up to the Valley Pass service so you can watch the Addicts go again in another South London derby against London City Lionesses. They look to bounce back from this. They'll take the positives from it. They're disappointed to come away with only a point. Right, thank you to Lewis Catt, my Charlton Live colleague who's been joining me this evening.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
I'm Louis Mendes. Don't forget to tune into the Charlton Live podcast next Thursday. We'll have some reaction, hopefully, from the London City game. And we'll look ahead to the Charlton men's team game against Doncaster Rovers on Good Friday. We look forward to that. But thank you for joining us on YouTube, and we shall see you again next time.